on the run. And this guy is not an ordinary escapee. This guy, we know, is a double killer. That we know of. We know that Danelo Cavalcante murdered a guy in cold blood over a car repair. That was in his homeland of Brazil. But he went on the run. He hid out in the jungle until he could execute his plan to get to Puerto Rico, but not stay too long. Eye on the prize, the U.S. So he goes from Brazil to the jungles to Puerto Rico to the U.S., and here he is in Chester. He quickly moves in with another Brazilian national. He begins beating her mercilessly in front of her children. She calls police. She asks for help. The TRO, the TPO, none of that matter. He then stabs her repeatedly down on the ground in their home with her children watching mommy get slaughtered. So he goes to jail, looking at life without parole. What does he have to lose? Nothing. He crab walks. You know what that is? It's my coworker, Dee. She did her whole childhood. She's got pictures of her crab walking up her in her own home. They called her Monkey. You put your hands on one side like a hallway, and your feet on the other, and you inch your way up, kind of like Spider-Man. If Dee can do it, this guy can do it. And he did do it. Where in the HELL was the prison guard? I know this much. I know that after Cavalcante escapes, they find the prison guard has an unauthorized cell phone. What was he, trolling through TikTok as a double killer? Escapes. Where do you think he's going to go? He's going to seek out the easiest target. Think of the hyena on the savannah watching the gazelles at the watering hole. What does he do? He doesn't go for the strongest, the biggest, the fastest. He gets the weakest, the very weakest, the slowest gazelle. What will Cavalcante do? He will target a female alone or a female with her children, say coming out of the grocery store or in a parking deck. That's always a good place to commit a felony. He will either beat her or kill her, just like he did his lover, to get her car, her money. Or he'll pick out an elderly and either take their car or get into their home. Think back to the Fulton County Courthouse killer, already behind bars. I think it was on a rape. But going up the elevator with a female sheriff, he overpowers her even though she's armed, gets out, shoots down my friend, Judge Roland Barnes, who I played softball with, guns down my friend, who was my court reporter, Julie, and then keeps going and goes on the run, taking down more people as he goes. It's just one example. This guy knows how to hide out in the jungle. Remember Eric Rudolph, the Olympic bomber? He goes and lives in the woods, the forest around the Appalachian Trail for 3 years, foraging, until he's finally caught. Blows up a couple of abortion clinics in the process, including blowing shrapnel at my investigator. So what's going to happen now with Cavalcante, and how in the hay did he escape? Just an FYI, let me throw in there that just a couple of months ago, another guy escaped the very same way from the same jail, crab walking up and over. And what did they do? They added a little barbed wire at the top. Cavalcante just went through the barbed wire. Really? Joining me, two people that know inmates like Cavalcante like the back of their hands. Number one, Sheryl McCollum, founder, director, Cold Case Research Institute, forensics expert, and host of a hit series, Zone 7 podcast. And Chris McDonough, director of the Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective, around 300 homicide investigations. I found him on The Interview Room. It's a channel on YouTube. I found him during the Brian Kohberger debacle. Guys, help me. Where is this a-hole, world-class a-hole, headed right now? We know he's changed his appearance. He's popped up on 2 ring cams that I know of. He's stolen 2 cars, vehicles, and somewhere along the way, he got a hoodie, a baseball cap, and managed to go clean shaven. He looks like he's about 18 years old. Okay, first to you, Sheryl McCollum.
Here's what I noticed, Nancy, when he has got the hoodie and things on and he's on the door camera of what we believe to be a ex-co-worker's house. He's got some kind of box, whether it's something to drink or something to eat, but he's smiling. He feels very confident. This guy keeps moving. He doesn't stop for any extended period of time. He is constantly walking or driving or moving. That is critical for people to understand. So you may think, oh, well, he's out of the area. It appears to me he keeps doubling back some too. That's the reason the dogs have not been effective. That is the reason that the perimeters are not effective. They think he's over on the north and he's west. They think they go to the west, he's now in the east. He is on the move, and you said it. He has nothing to lose, and there's a place he can go to get food and money, clothing, and a vehicle, and that's at a private home.
That is the scariest thing you can imagine, being trapped with a convicted killer who knows how to survive in the jungle of Brazil with nothing, just like Rudolph survived with nothing along the Appalachian Trail. Joining me also is Chris McDonough, director of Cold Case Foundation, star of his own YouTube channel, The Interview Room. Okay, Chris, help me out. Where's this guy headed?
So both you, Nancy, and Sheryl nailed this guy. He's, in his thought process, I would dovetail into this idea that he is very comfortable with his confidence level here. He is, he's winning at this point in his mind. He took that risk from, crab walking out of that jail to going up to various different locations, getting on camera, stealing a car. And then, of course, we add into that the fact that he's killed 2 people already. And so I think he's going to try to find a comfortable location, i.e. in the Brazilian community. Somebody that has a connection to him is going to be his first instinct. And so I think he's trying to find somebody that is going to try to help him out in that geographic region right away.
I think he's on the run. He's already gone to 2 co-workers. One happened to be away at dinner. I'm also curious, Sheryl McCollum brings up he's got on different clothes. He does. I'm watching him right now, crab walking up the wall. He's got on white tennis shoes. It looks like blue inmate. You know what, Sheryl? Why did we ever get rid of the stripes? Either the white pants with a stripe up the side or the jailhouse black and white stripes. I mean, because when you see those, there's an inmate. What's he doing out? But here, the guy's got on navy blue, they're prison pants, but who would know that? They look like scrubs from the doctor's office. And he's got on a white shirt. So now he's got on totally, go ahead.
In the nighttime, you wouldn't even be able to tell that. And I'll tell you something else, Nancy. It really concerns me about being clean shaven. Not only is he clean shaven, he had to break into somewhere to do that. So again, this coworker that may not have been home, that might have been an opportunity for him to get the hoodie, to shave and do all of these things. And again, That ring camera did not deter him. Look at his face. He's grinning. Not only is he confident, he is basically letting the world know, I'm right here in live time.
And it looks like he's got a drink and a can of something in his hand. He's got on a light green, I think, or gray hoodie. He's got on looks to be a gray or a black baseball hat. It looks like the baseball hat is used because it's slightly frayed on the ends. What else did he get? How did he shave? Does he have a razor? Does he have a switchblade? Does he have a knife? What does he have? He's also caught on a hunter's cam. In that picture, he has just taken off his shirt, but he has a backpack. And he's got a bag and a backpack. Where did that come from?
Yeah, and plus we have to think about there are two things that he's going to need, and that's food and water. The water to maintain the run, obviously for his stamina, and of course the food is, makes sense that he's going to have to eat something. So that tells us that he's going to try to get into a position where he has an advantage over anybody that he comes into a confrontation with. And the fact that he's used both weapons, a knife and a gun, in his previous homicides, that puts the public at a high risk. Because if he does come across them, and if at any time through the fact that he may have broken into other houses for those, the food, the water, the shaving, all of that to change his appearance, if he gets hold of a weapon, that is going to increase the concern of the authorities, I would submit.
Guys, we already know he will enter a home. A resident at Pocopson Township says Cavalcante was in his home 11:45 p.m. Friday night. He flicked the lights at the owner before stealing food. Now, listen to what the owner says. Quote, "What I decided to do was flip the switch 3 or 4 or 5 times. Paused." The owner of the home is trying to let the guy know, hey, I know you're down there. So he flicks the light switches, and guess what Cavalcante does? He flips the light switches back. And the homeowner says, I thought, OMG, the guy is downstairs. It's like a scary movie. The guy is in your home. A double killer on the run is downstairs flicking the light switch at you. He goes on, I saw him walk out of the kitchen through our living room, open up the door, walk out. He was wearing a white shirt and had a bag. Peaches, apples, snap peas missing. We had steak knives, and he could have taken one of those. That's what's happening right now. But can I circle back to the jail just for a moment? I mean, think about it, guys. You've got, all right, let's see. Ted Bundy escapes twice. Once from the jail, once from the law library at the courthouse. He literally jumps through the window. You've got Casey White having sex with the warden. Did nobody notice that? He's like 7 feet tall. Nobody noticed anybody having sex in the jail. Anyway, they escape. That ends in death. There's just so many. There's the seamstress that lets felons out of jail after she's having an affair in the closet. You've got, do I have to even say El Chapo? He had a motorcycle run built under the jail. He gets on the motorcycle and leaves, crawling through the bottom of his jail cell. And then, of course, there's the topper. The warden's asleep and shopping online when Epstein kills himself. What's happening at the jail, Sheryl McCollum?
Well, Nancy, there's a female inmate, Ashley Crawley, who's been on the run from Ohio since August 6th. She walks over, climbs, just scales the fence, and she's been gone. They cannot find her. And this guy has eluded law enforcement, dogs, aircraft, people searching on horseback, tactical teams. Again, when you are desperate and you're not worried about sleep and you're not worried about food and you're not worried about anything, you are single focused to keep moving and get what you need just to survive the next 10 minutes, That's a very different thing than people that are working a shift. They take breaks because it's too hot. He's not doing any of that. He's not stopping for lunch. He's not stopping for anything. But what they've got to do here, they have arrested his sister. ICE arrested her for immigration issues. If he finds out about that, that could be a game changer in this whole thing.
He doesn't care.
Well,
doesn't care about his sister.
Care, and it may make him so angry. He may make a mistake. The other thing is the not sleeping. You know he's not sleeping more than 2 hours at a time. When you are that sleep deprived, you can make a mistake. Like Eric Rudolph, he was successful for 7 years. From 1996 to 2003, they could not find him. And then all of a sudden, this rookie cop who didn't even know who Eric Robert Rudolph was sees him climbing out of a dumpster behind a Save-A-Lot and arrested him for being a vagrant. And it wasn't until he was fingerprinted that they were like, oh, my Lord, do you know who you just captured? So he will make a mistake the longer he goes.
I'm very concerned about the fact that he has access to new clothes, to a way to shave, change his appearance. He's got on different pants, a hoodie, a baseball cap. Now, Sheryl McCollum, Chris McDonough seems to think that he'll get so worried about his sister who's being detained over probably some immigration problem that he's going to turn himself in. Yeah, fat chance. This guy murdered, repeatedly stabbed his lover to death in the floor of their home with her children watching. He doesn't care about his sister on an ICE detain. Please stop. He is going to continue to escape and leave his sister to fend for herself, Chris.
Absolutely. 100% I agree with you. To him, she's just collateral damage for what he's got going right now. And because let's think about his confidence level, going back to that what Sheryl mentioned a little bit ago. This guy's already escaped a country, by hiding out in the jungles and then ultimately making his route to Puerto Rico and then eventually into the United States. So he's got a confidence level already of, hey, I've already done this. I can do this again. And maybe, reverse engineer that. I don't know. But the fact that he's hanging out in the woods, that's a confidence level for him. That's where he feels comfortable right now because he's already done it one time with the authorities searching for him in another country. So he's going to utilize that advantage against the authorities. So I would submit that the authorities need to start looking up into the trees. A lot of times these guys will go high. Especially the fact that, he's, climbing. And when I was a dog handler, when we would go on a search for a guy, the first thing I would do is look up into the trees if the dog caught a scent. And I would submit to you, this guy's not going to be beyond that, of hiding up in high areas. And then changing go ahead, Sheryl.
I've just got to jump back in here and clear something up.
You have to jump back in.
I have to
clear up what you said last time about boo-hoo. They've got my sister. Let me turn myself in.
You got to let me explain.
I don't really have to. I can cut your mic, but I'm not because I feel sorry for you right now. Go ahead, keep digging. Dig that hole, girl.
I appreciate you. Here's what I'm fearful of. They nabbed his sister. His sister, very well, they did that because she might have been setting up to help him. He is going to flip out. I am telling you. He is sleep deprived. He is hungry. He is tired. When he finds out the person that was out, that when he was patient, Mike could have helped him, they went and got. I'm fearful that now you're going to see some people hurt. That's
Sheryl, okay, you know what? I just said that. You said he's going to be so upset about his sister, he's going to, turn himself in. BS. He's not turning himself in. He's getting more desperate. Part of what you said I agree with. It's going to make him even more angry. He's already an angry and violent person, and he's going to act out. But I'm saying a female alone with children and elderly, he's going to target somebody who's defenseless and alone or unsuspecting. It could be a guy if he can sneak up on the guy. This is where we know he is last. Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. That was late Saturday night. New images showing him clean-shaven, green hoodie, baseball cap, green prison pants, and white shoes. But I'm telling you, Jackie, Sydney, look, am I just not seeing it correctly? When he's crab walking up out of the jail, he's got on blue prison pants, doesn't he? And a white shirt? That's what I see. Also, we think he may be driving a stolen 2020 white Ford Transit with a refrigeration unit on top. That's pretty easy to spot. He's not going to stay in that for very long. License Z Zebra S Sally T Toy 8818. Oh wait, never mind. I'm reading the Bolo. Be on the lookout. I was right and wrong at the same time. The van has already been abandoned and they found it. At that time, he was 25 miles away from the Chester County Prison, where he was being housed, life without parole for murdering his girlfriend in front of their children. Now, what do we know? Where would he be now? He's gone to 2 homes of former co-workers. We know he's been in a home where he gets food, switching the lights to let the people know he's there. He was caught on a trail cam, a hunter's cam, at Longwood Gardens. That prompted an 1,100-acre botanical garden search. Where now? I say he's going to go into the forest and stay there, traveling through the forest, only coming out to forage for food, attack somebody for food, maybe not even money right now. Maybe another vehicle. What about it, Chris McDonough?
I agree with you, Nancy. I think right now he's trying to get his bearings. He's got, what are we into this now? 12, 13 days?
Yeah.
Approximately. So he's number one, he is conscious that the authorities are on the hunt. And so that means he is making decisions to offset that hunt, i.e. he's changing his appearance and he's trying to get as far away from the original point of contact, i.e. the prison. So it won't surprise me if he's breaking into, houses, abandoned houses or, cottages, those types of things where people aren't, and, possibly changing his clothing by now. For all we know, he's found some wigs, he's found some female clothing, changing his appearance in that route, probably not during the jungle chase, but if he enters more into urban areas, he's trying to find a place that he can communicate with somebody in the Brazilian community. We've already seen that a couple of times. And so I want to know what's his level of, English proficiency. Versus Portuguese. So those are the kind of things that the authorities are probably thinking through here. And once he crosses those lines, man, he's got some real problems because that's when the U.S. Marshals kicks in.
Okay, Sheryl, jump in.
I think that he's going to be hiding like under a house, and he's going to wait till the kids go to school and the husband goes to work, and he's going to take a hostage and get that vehicle, get a change of clothes, get some food. I think he's going to drive her far out somewhere, drop her off about 5 miles from anywhere, take her cell phone, so that he's got another hour and a half head start. He'll abandon that car. He will go back into the forest, and we're going to repeat this cycle again. He's going to get Ghost because what's happened is the town has also changed their playbook. So they stopped the kids from going to school. The big garden where he was hired the first time said, hey, we've got all this high corn that he could be hiding in. They started getting rid of the corn. So you've got people on high alert. They're not leaving keys in vans. They're closing shop.
You mean they're not leaving keys in vans?
That's right. And so now that that's changing, he's got to change his game. So what I'm saying again, he's going to go left, and we're going to start seeing some people have some engagement with him where he takes overt action.
He's going to have to navigate extreme heat, humidity, and landscape. That's working against him. But so far, he has unwittingly shown himself 8 times. And again, when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. If you don't know what he's going to do. Look at what he's already done. He is breaking into homes, and he's stealing cars, and he is hiding himself in densely wooded forests and thick vegetation. That is his MO. We know what he's done so far. Now, it should be an easy predictor to figure out what he's going to do next. So, Chris McDonough, what do you make? What do you make of it?
Well, I think he's going to, hunker down into the forest environments because, to your point, that's exactly what he knows. He's already done it in Brazil. So, a leopard doesn't lose its spots. And then, the vulnerability aspect of the community, which Sheryl's talking about, I agree that if he makes it into these houses and he finds himself, somebody that is not able to defend themselves, then he's going to take advantage of that. And his goal there would be to get to a car. And once that car, if he's mobile in that car, for all we know, wherever the strongest Brazilian communities are on the East Coast, that's where I would start concentrating.
But he doesn't know where that is. He doesn't have a cell
Right.
phone. He doesn't have access to computer. Once he's out of his area, how is he going to go into a different state and go, oh, I'm going to find the closest Portuguese community? That ain't happening.
Well, sometimes though, you and I both know, and Sheryl and everybody, that, these immigrant communities are very tight-knit. Massachusetts has a big Brazilian community.
Now, why are you
so
saying
that's not
Massachusetts? I just said, where's he going? You didn't say Massachusetts, but now you are.
Well, because there has a very large Brazilian community over there. There's a huge Brazilian population in the Boston area. So you can bet that when he was in that jail, the first thing he says is, hey, has anybody ever escaped here? And there was a conversation with the other inmates, and they said, yeah, some guy crawled up here this way. And so he started thinking through that. So I would submit that he's probably already thinking, hey, where are the Brazilian communities? And if he's run into some of these folks, i.e. co-workers, are they from Brazil? And if so, that tells us what his pattern of thought process is. And so we got to start looking for those patterns.
I'd like to dwell on Igor Bolte. Name ring a bell? That was the inmate that escaped the same facility a couple of months ago in the same manner. As much as I'd like to talk about their massive fail, right now we have to focus on where is this guy. There's a $20,000 reward as it stands right now. There are a lot of tip lines, but I think the most effective is the U.S. Marshal. Toll free, 877-926-8332. This guy has killed, and he's willing to kill again. He is not going to go back alive. 877-926-8332. Goodbye, friend. Guys, thank you for watching Crime Online with Nancy Grace here on YouTube. To get the very latest, subscribe to Crime Online here